Hello, welcome or welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Kayla, and today we're going to be picking my September TBR using my TBR jar. If you saw my August video, you'll know that there are some new additions. I did go book shopping, and I now finally have almost every Toni Morrison, like old vintage edition, where it's just like the color and the writing. I'm only missing Tar Baby and Love now. Anyways, I won't take up too much of your time. Let's get started. We're gonna do 5 books, and I do get 1 skip in case I don't have anything that fits the prompt. Okay, I would close my eyes, but I don't think that matters. I'm gonna be real with you. Okay, things keep falling. Let me see. Okay. Did you stick to your budget this month? If yes, free pick. If no, library book. I decided to add prompts that involve questions too, where it's like, if yes, do this, if no, do this, because I saw this one YouTuber that did that as well, and I thought it was super cute. I'll tag her in like the description. But I did not stick to my budget this month. I couldn't because of a couple unexpected expenses. So it looks like I'm going to be picking a library book. I'll be right back. So I did recently go to my library and I picked up maybe 7 books, maybe 6. I'm not really going to count them. Okay, so first we have Curdle Creek by Yvonne Battle Felton. This is set in an all-black town where the citizens are required to sacrifice, like, you know, their own population for population control. And it's based on the 1948 story, The Lottery. And it actually won the Shirley Jackson Award in 2024. So I am interested in that. I have God of the Woods. I won't really bore you with what this is about because I feel like I've seen it everywhere. We have The Fortune of the Rougon by Emile Zola. This is the first book in the Rougon-Macquart cycle. I did mention that I want to read all 20 books in his recommended order. So this is where you start. Even if you read in publication order, this is the first one he wrote in the entire cycle. And it gives you insight to a family, like the Rougon and the Macquart family, and kind of how certain traits are hereditary and follow the entire generation through the next 20 books. Okay, then we have The Macabre by Kosako Jackson, and this is about a struggling painter who realizes that he has the ability to enter 9 paintings and that are created by his grandfather, and he has to destroy them before they fall into the wrong hands because the paintings depict like eldritch horrors. So this is also a horror novel. I have Bat Eater and Other Names for Corazang. Basically, a girl's sister dies after a racist pushes her in front of a train track and calls her a bat eater, and it kind of just turns into something. Finally, and the one I'm actually pretty excited about, we have The Infinite State by Richard Swan. This is the first book in a new series called the Decurion Saga that he's writing. A woman's husband dies who is like a very high-ranking official in this surveillance state kind of government called Pater Eternus, and she inherits a bunch of money and she decides to try and start her own democracy. Okay, so if I had to pick the 3 that I'm the most interested in, I would say it would be The Infinite State, Curdle Creek, and The Fortune of the Rougons. But I'm going to be honest, I'm going to read this month no matter what I pick, so there's no need to even pick that. If I have to choose between these 2, I really want to read The Infinite State. It just like sounds like a really good sci-fi novel, and I've been craving those lately. Also, this one is due very soon, so I need to read it. So the first book we're reading is The Infinite State. Okay. Why am I closing my eyes? It's like super irrelevant. Let me grab one of these like fall shaped, Jesus. Let me grab one of these fall ones. Okay, this one says Haunted House, and it's on a cute little pumpkin. I decided to make a couple little fall ones since we're entering fall. Once again, I don't know what I was thinking because I don't have anything that has anything to do with the haunted house. I make these cute little fall things. I don't read haunted house stuff, and I don't have The Haunting of Hill House. It's ready at the library, but I haven't picked it up. I'm gonna skip this one. So second one, repeat. That's what I get for being too seasonal for no reason. Let's pick a colored one. Okay. This one says, so entertaining, 2.5 stars. So basically something that I think will be very entertaining, but not actually that good. I don't really know what. That would have to be a thriller. It would have to be a Frida McFadden thriller because I think her stories are very entertaining, but not actually that interesting. If I had to guess like which series I would blow through and then like rank really low, these 2 immediately stand out. And so does this one actually. And I'm just picking thrillers, and maybe that's a bit discriminatory, but I read thrillers and I don't like them. It happens a lot. And, oh, this one is actually the prime candidate for this. Okay, so we have Love at First Sight by Nadia El Fassi. So this is a girl who can see ghosts who writes like movies. And then a very older actor who's like trying to step away from the whole like dreamboat Zac Efron type of archetype that he fits into. So he wants to star in her movie, but she doesn't want him in it because she doesn't think he fits the image. So they have this kind of enemies to lovers vibe. And then it's like an age gap romance. It sounds interesting. It's very seasonal, obviously. I don't think I'm actually gonna like it too much. I'm not sure. I think I'll have fun with it and then rank it lowly, much like this book I read recently called Doomsday. Next we have Underlake by Erin L. McCoy. I was so interested in this, but anyways, let me read this real quick. 12 years ago, Ada escaped her small town determined to become a marine biologist. Now she's returned carrying the guilt of a friend's disappearance during a deep sea dive and unsure she'll ever be able to dive again. Then a stranger, May, appears at her door insisting that her daughter who ran away is under the nearby lake, alive. Like, what interested me in this is that it was tagged literary fiction and it features water. I love water-based stories for some reason, and I really like literary fiction, but this has 3.3 stars on Goodreads, which isn't bad, but whenever something's lower than like 3.5, I notice there's usually a reason. So I think I might like this, but not love it, or I might even read it and be like, oh, this is so interesting. Not good. And then there's this one, The Blonde Identity. So basically a woman wakes up with no memory in the middle of Paris, and she knows that she has a headache. The hottest guy she has probably ever seen is standing over her telling her to run, and oh yeah, people keep trying to kill her. And I guess she's a spy, or that's the explanation she comes to. Which, it sounds fun, but you know what I mean? Like, the best way to explain the prompt that I picked is like, fun, not good. And these are all books that I think might be fun, but not good. Actually, I do think The Underlake is going to be good. I don't care what anyone on Goodreads says. I'm gonna put it back right now. I don't care. I have my own opinions. I'm capable of my own sentient thought. Okay, and then The Girl on the Train by Paula Hawkins. So I guess this is about a woman who like sits on a train and watches this couple every single time at this one specific spot. And then one day something changes. So this could be a thriller that I actually like, or this could be another The Silent Patient where it's just a real stinker. And then I have The Woman in White. I just got this from Aardvark. And honestly, I just don't care enough, so I'm gonna put it back anyways. So let me think. Between The Girl on the Train, The Blonde Identity, and Love at First Sight, let's read the first sentence of each one and see which one actually appeals to me. Rosemary was 10 years old the first time she saw a ghost. Okay, fair enough. Then for The Blonde Identity, we have, here's the thing about waking up with no memory in the middle of the night, in the middle of the street, in the middle of Paris. At least you're waking up in Paris. Okay. And then The Girl on the Train, let's read this one. Ooh, there's so much like, is that mold on these pages? Gosh, I got this from my library book sale. There is a pile of clothing on the side of the train tracks. You know what? That was the most interesting one of the three to me, because my immediate thought was, wait, why? What's happening to the clothes? Why are they on the train tracks? That's so interesting. So the second book is going to be The Girl on the Train by Paula Hawkins, because that interests me. Granted, it does have the potential of not being that great because I'm not the most avid thriller reader, but I'm going to take a chance. Okay, do I go for a fall tasking? Anyways, let's just dig in. Just grab something. Okay, nope, not that one. I don't want to. Sure. I don't know what this one says. Okay, the shortest book you own. Well, that's fun. I only have a handful of short books. It's either going to be this one, or... yeah, nothing looks shorter than these two, actually. So we have Hunger by Choi, Jin-Young. And from my understanding, this is about a woman watches her husband die or her partner die. Like, he gets killed in the streets, and then she eats him, like, as she's grieving. That is my understanding. And this one is only 118 pages. And next is The Road Through the Wall by Shirley Jackson. This is about... let's see, welcome to Pepper Street. It's a really nice, safe California neighborhood. The houses are tidy and the lawns are neatly moved. Of course, the country club is close by. And lots of pleasant folks live here. The only problem is they knock down the wall at the end of the street to make way for a road to a new housing development. Now, that's not good. Not with summer vacation starting and the kids all running around. It's just not good at all. So this is supposed to be like a chilling novel, and this is her debut, apparently. So I was interested in it. And this one is 194 pages. So this was really quick. I'm going to be reading Hunger by Choi, Jin-Young. Oh my gosh, you guys, this is going really quick. Maybe we'll do 6. I don't know about that. Anyways, let's pick the 4th one. Let me try and grab one of these fall ones. I don't know where it is. Let me see. Ugh. Okay. Was that cheating if I like looked at it before I picked it? It doesn't matter. You guys can't do anything to me. Okay, so this says a horror novel. Well, that's like a good portion of my reads. I'm gonna be so honest, like I don't even know if I should pick them all out because it's a lot. Oops. Jeez. Okay, oh my gosh. Okay, so we have Something Wicked This Way Comes by Ray Bradbury. That's one of the recent ones I got. There's Headlights by CJ Lead. I'll be leaving that alone. Japanese Gothic. I've been in a very gothic mood. I'm always in a very gothic mood. So that's another one. We have Stephen King. I believe all three of these, Firestarter, Salem's Lot, and Pet Sematary, are horrors. I don't really want to read any of them because I'm currently doing the audiobook for Holly, and I can't do too much Stephen King at once personally. Let's grab The Reformatory and Dracula. And that will be the four I'm going to be picking from. Okay. So Dracula, obviously about a vampire. I don't need to explain what this book is about, but I'll put something here in case you're genuinely very curious. Ray Bradbury, Something Wicked This Way Comes. I actually don't know exactly what this is about. Let me see. Cougar and Dark's Pandemonium Shadow Show has come to the Greentown, Illinois to destroy every life touched by its strange and sinister mystery. Okay, so it's about a carnival that rolls in at midnight that's maybe a little haunted. Japanese Gothic by Kylie Lee Baker. In this lyrical, widely inventive horror novel, interwoven with Japanese mythology, two people living centuries apart discover a door between their worlds. Okay, so it's like a multi-timeline type of horror novel. And then The Reformatory by Tananarive Due. I picked this up recently as well, along with Something Wicked This Way Comes, because I hear so much about this one. So this one's set in Florida in the 1950s, based on an actual kind of reform school that was there and the horrors that went on. And I mean, I have a lot of heavy books. So I'm going to be picking The Reformatory by Tananarive Due. I really don't need to think about it too hard because I want to read this, and it's also on my like fall library card that I made for like books that I want to read this fall. Okay, so the synopsis of this one is 12-year-old Robbie Stevens Jr. is sentenced to 6 months at the Gracetown School for Boys for kicking the son of the largest landowner in town in defense of his older sister Gloria. So begins Robbie's journey further into the terrors of the Jim Crow South and the very real horror of the school they call the Reformatory. That's actually really interesting. And I know Tananarive Due is coming out with another book like in September called Maisiewood. So I feel that it would be good to read this month. And then when the Reformatory ultimately ends up on Aardvark, I believe it will at least, I can pick that one up too. And then maybe I can read that in October. So that's gonna be my third book. Sorry, did I say third? I definitely meant fourth. But anyways, let's pick the fifth one. And since the other one of my picks is so short, I'm gonna do 6 instead of 5. No. Nope. I don't care. So I just don't want to read that one. I'm not going to. You can't make me. Let's try again. Okay, this one's folded up. Let me see. Okay, so this one says, stare at the wall and think. So basically, something that I think is going to put me into a very catatonic state or just make me feel very emotionally wrecked once I'm done. So, in other words, let's pick one of these Toni Morrison books. So I only recently started my journey with Toni Morrison a couple months ago. I read The Bluest Eye, and I think I cried by the end. I cried trying to write the review, and I cry if I talk a little bit too much about that book. It changed a lot. It really impacted something in me. So we're gonna read one of these other ones next. So I have Song of Solomon, Sula, Paradise, and Beloved. And I'm in the middle of Jazz, which is why it's not here. I'm going to be putting Beloved back on the shelf immediately. I do not want anything as depressing as this synopsis is right now. Maybe next month, maybe January, but just not right now. I've heard really good things about Sula, so let's see. 2 girls who grow up to become women, 2 friends who become something worse than enemies. In this brilliantly imagined novel, Nobel Prize laureate Toni Morrison tells the story of Nell Wright and Sula Peace, who meet as children in the small town of Medallion, Ohio. So currently I'm reading The Disappearers by Marlon James. I have an arc of it, and I'm filming a vlog for it. And he mentioned, I believe it was either this one or Song of Solomon, that is really good and like changed a lot for him. It might actually be both, because one of them ends with like, what is it? Prove or show to who, or something like that. Song of Solomon. Milkman Dead was born shortly after a neighborhood eccentric hurled himself off a rooftop in a vain attempt at flight. For the rest of his life, he too will be trying to fly. I mean, that's interesting. That sounds really interesting. And then, let me see. They shoot the white girls first, with the rest they can take their time. So begins Toni Morrison's Paradise, which opens with a horrifying scene of mass violence and chronicles its genesis in an all-black small town in rural Oklahoma. Okay, so of the ones I've mentioned, Sula and Paradise interest me the most right now. And funnily enough, they have such cute fall colors. I don't know. Let me flip a coin. I don't have a coin. I have this though. So if this lands facing up, I will read Sula. And if this lands facing up, I will read Paradise. I don't want to hit anything. Okay. This up. So it looks like I'm going to be reading Sula. Okay, and since I did end up picking a book that was less than 120 pages even, I'm gonna do one more. So I'll do 6 instead of 5. Let me shake it up a little. And actually close my eyes. Only this time. Okay, things keep falling. I grabbed this one. A book which has been on your TBR longer than you can remember. I wonder what has been on here for so long that I have no clue when I bought it. You know which one works for that? This one right here. I have no clue when I bought this, but it must have been on my TBR for a very long time. So this is Strange Building by Uketsu. I've read Strange Pictures, which I loved, and Strange Houses, which I didn't like as much. I just thought it was a little too circumstantial. It wasn't as interesting. But this is the 3rd book in the series, and this one is about buildings that are interconnected through some weird kind of scary story. I like the way he writes stories. I like the way we always get like visuals and little floor plans. So I've been meaning to read this book, and I did buy it maybe like a couple of days after it came out. So I don't know why it's taken me so long to read this. And somehow I already damaged the front. But anyways, so this is going to be my 6th book. Okay, so we have all 6. So let's just go over them very quickly. So the first one we ended up picking is The Infinite State by Richard Swan. This is a sci-fi novel set in a surveillance state government about a woman who decides to start her own democracy. We have The Girl on the Train by Paula Hawkins. This is about somebody who watches the same couple every day at a stop on her train ride, but one day something changes, and this is a thriller. We have Hunger by Choi Jin-Young. This is a horror novella about a woman who watches the love of her life or her partner get killed and consumes him while she's grieving. We have The Reformatory by Tananarive Due, which is about a 12-year-old boy who ends up going to a reformatory school, the reformatory, and can see ghosts and ends up realizing what is the truth of what actually happens at the reformatory. We have Sula, which is going to be my 2nd Toni Morrison read, about 2 friends who grow up and take kind of different paths, but still stay friends until a betrayal happens. Or maybe they still stay friends after. And finally, Strange Buildings by Uketsu, which is about 11 buildings that are all likely connected by some type of interesting story based on what I've read from him before. Okay, that was it. Thanks for watching, everyone. If you stayed to the end, make sure to like and subscribe. Hit the notification bell if you want. Let me know what you guys are planning to read in September, and I'll see you guys next time.